Hello, welcome back to the Chelsea debate. As always, I'm Don Toner and with me, Josh Langford. If you enjoyed the video today, please like and subscribe below and follow us on Twitter at Chelsea_debate and on our Instagram, _Chelsea_debate. In this video, we're going to look ahead to Tuesday night's Champions League game against Atletico Madrid. Josh, first of all, thanks for joining me as always. Are you excited for this game?
Yeah, it's very excited, also very nervous, to be honest. I think it's a big test, possibly the first huge test that's come under Tuchel. So no, it's it'll be really interesting. So a good mix.
Yeah, it's obviously Tuchel has just played in the Prem so far, that one FA Cup game, but this is just sort of a distraction, a welcome one, I think. I feel like we've got nothing to lose. We are underdogs in this game. And last year we got knocked out at the same stage to Bayern Munich. So we're certainly underdogs and we don't have that European pedigree anymore compared to, 5-10 years ago. So I don't know, let's have a free swing. As we know that Atletico are having a really good season, top of La Liga. How do you sort of see them as an opponent? Because you sort of know what you're going to get from them. It's going to be tough, rigid and defensively strong, aren't they?
Yeah, very defensively strong. I mean, you start from in goal. They've got Jan Oblak, possibly the best goalie in the world at the minute. He'd definitely be in that conversation, I think. Then potentially a little bit of sort of good news. Not that we ever wish anybody injured, but Jimenez went off injured yesterday, so that obviously does create a gap. It's going to be a tough game, isn't it? Where you look at their team on all over the pitch, they've got great players. And this season they've been brilliant, to do well in La Liga. I know sort of Barcelona have gone off the boil a little bit, and Real Madrid haven't been as good as they've been in recent seasons. But it's still impressive to do what they're doing in that league. They're 3 points ahead with a game in hand. So it's going to be a really tough game. In recent years, the draw's just not been too kind to us, has it? I mean, as you just mentioned briefly, last year we went out the same stage to Bayern Munich. And then Atletico this year. It's a tough fixture.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, they are top of the league and they got a game in hand, but they did lose 2-0 to Levante. Bit annoying because I had them on my bet. So I just thought I expected a big win before they played us, but that wasn't the case. Losing Jimenez, like you say, massive blow for them. He's that real authoritative figure at the back. He's been linked with Chelsea. I think Man United really like him as a defender. And it's clearly works for them. I saw a stat as well that they've conceded 16 goals now in the league so far, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to beat Chelsea's record of 15, but I don't think anyone's going to. I honestly can't see anyone breaking that record. City at the minute are on 15 goals conceded. So they'd have to not concede for the whole season to level our record. But I really like them in terms of defensively. And I imagine, I don't know what you feel, that they're going to be compact. We've not even mentioned the fact that it is our away leg, but it's not being played in Spain. It's at a neutral venue in Bucharest because of the whole UK ban flight into Spain. So is that going to play a factor? Maybe one in terms of mentally, are they going to feel like the home side? And can we maybe capitalise on that because it's a neutral venue?
Well, I mean, they've been brilliant at home. Yesterday was actually their first home loss of the season. So I don't know. Hopefully, it does sort of create a little bit of a doubt in their mind. But then I look at, they've got an experienced team. They've all been there and done it before. And Simeone as a manager, I think he's so passionate and fiery. I think he'll sort of potentially use that as a motivating factor to get the team up for it. Sort of create them as almost the underdogs. You're not even playing at your home stadium. So hopefully we can exploit it, but I am a little bit worried that if anything, it'll have the opposite effect and it'll fire Atletico up even more. So yeah, it does. It could go either way, but it does worry me.
There's sort of a perception that this year the Spanish league is not as strong. Obviously, we saw with Real Madrid, but you've got to take into context of that Atletico are top of that league, and albeit it's not the Barca and Real that we know, but they are still massive clubs, and fair play to Atletico that they mix it year on, year out with those big boys. I've got here a couple of other players that we should look at really from that Atletico team because they've got a lot of stars. They lost Griezmann, but they brought in Suarez and also in the midfield as well. I don't know how you want to look at it, but should we start with Suarez? Because we know, as English, audience, we know all about him, and he's still doing it, isn't he, this season?
Yeah, I mean, what is he, 33, 34, 16 goals this season? I mean, it's almost funny, isn't it, to as an outsider looking in. Sort of Koeman went to Barcelona and told him, you're not going to be in my plans, and he's gone to a rival and fired him to the top of the league. Yeah, it's just Suarez, isn't it? He's just a brilliant player, and he's the danger man for me. So I'm personally praying that we've got Silva back, and Silva can keep him nice and warm in his pocket.
You just know the sort of character Suarez is. It's just going to G him up even more. It just reminds me of that player. You hate him when he's against you, but when we had Diego Costa, we loved him. So it's that sort of character. He's going to be up for it. They have got the experience you mentioned in the team, like a strong core. But they've also got some, they sort of blended that with young talent as well. Like João Felix came in, massive transfer. He's also just come back from, he had a COVID, didn't he? And he had to self-isolate, but he came back at the weekend. So he's going to be fit. What do you think of him? Because I really like him as a talent, albeit he's not yet, fully developed.
Yeah, I agree. He's a great talent. He's not the finished article just yet. But bits I've seen of him sort of the last 12, 18 months, he's explosive. So he's a danger. So, I mean, might sound petty, but I'm hoping he's got a bit of long COVID and doesn't recover until after the game against Chelsea on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think he started quite slow there, but then he sort of come to life a bit more, and he's so young and people forget that, but he's certainly capable. They sort of play, what I saw against Levante, I think they played more of a three at the back, so it could be quite interesting to see how we, compare to that. But João Felix, obviously behind Suarez in that front role, so he's sort of got a bit of a license, and he's certainly be a difficult player to pick up, I think, for our defence. And likewise, if we've got Werner and players like that, drifting into pockets, I think that's what Felix is going to do as well. Pace as well on the counter, if that's the way Atletico play, sort of going to be strong. But then when they get the ball, quick, direct, and it'd be interesting. I wouldn't say I've watched tons of Atletico, but you know what you're going to get, really. And players like that just give them that X factor.
Well, they've been consistent as well, haven't they? I mean, they've reached the knockout stages of 7 of the last 8 seasons in the Champions League.
Yeah,
they've done 2 finals as well, and we're certainly unlucky to lose the one to Real Madrid. The other one was a little bit more convincing. So they've been there, they've done it. As you just sort of said, if you'd gone 5 to 10 years ago, Chelsea had that European pedigree that I'd have probably said would give us the edge. We've had obviously a lot of changes personnel-wise, so we haven't got that now. Atletico have. I mean, you're just talking about their attacking talent. You've also got to look in the middle of the park. They've got Koke, Saul, both players who are consistently linked with Premier League moves to big clubs. And whenever you see them, they're fantastic. They, both are capable of running a game. Mm-hmm. So that for me is actually an area where the game could be won or lost.
Yeah,
I think we can't afford to get overrun. I think it's also a risk to potentially try and go man for man with them. I think we've got to. Well, I don't know. It's just the team selection is going to be so important. And in terms of the new system that we're trying to implement, it potentially might leave us a little bit exposed. That is my only worry.
Yeah, we'll do our team in a second. I'll just add to that. Koke, versatile midfielder. Because of obviously the high quality in Spain, he's not internationally, we've seen him at that level, but he's very versatile, experienced, part of that core group. But you touched on there, Saul. Every time I've watched him, I really like him. He's left-footed. Hate to give Tottenham a shout-out, but he reminds me of Moussa Dembele. Do you remember at Spurs? Because he just reminds me of that sort of player. Left-footed players look better. People might disagree, but they just do when they're going. He's strong and he can get a goal. We can go forward. He's certainly a danger man. They've got good players all over the pitch, and it looked. I remember when the draw took place, they were sort of one of the teams, because remember we topped our group, so you think perhaps we'll get a fortunate draw. We didn't. We got arguably the toughest pick on that side, because Atletico finished second in their group behind Bayern. Only got 9 points, so it was a bit of a slow start, but I expect Simeone's team, now they're in the knockout, to really, really turn up. But I think they're a slight favourite with the bookies, but if we play well, I think we've got a good chance. So should we look at how we're going to set up to sort of, counter Atletico. Have you got a predicted lineup?
I have, yeah. So Mendy in goal. I think then the back three will have Aspi, Silva will come back. Obviously, we've seen him back in training for a few days. Then Rudiger next to them. And then I think wing backs, he'll have Reece James. And I think Ben Chilwell will come back in. I want him to, certainly. Just Alonso, he looked good when he came back in. I just think he seems to have sort of lost a little bit of effectiveness. So I'm hoping Chilwell comes back. Then potentially controversially, I think you might pull me on it. I've got Kovacic and Jorginho in the middle. I just think they've been so consistent, sort of under Tuchel, that they need to be there. It's Kante, he's brilliant, we all know that, but I just think we've lost a little bit of balance that Jorginho might bring. And then as a front three, I've gone Mount, Werner, and I want to see Ziyech. You might pull me on that. So I don't know. What do you think?
Werner is the striker.
Werner is the central striker, and then Mount Ziyech off him.
I didn't put a team together. I wanted to see what you did. So we'll get to them in a minute. I think, Mendy in goal, it's a no-brainer. We got to start to point out that we obviously drew, didn't we, at the weekend with Southampton. So, and a lot of, controversy, should I say, around what was said about Callum Hudson-Odoi after. I think we'll park the Premier League, see how it goes in the Champions League. Maybe this is what we need. Let's just go for it. Champions League, and we'll see. But I'd say, Mendy, Aspi, Silva, I suspect he will be fit. I was a bit annoyed that Zuma got the nod ahead of Christensen at the weekend. That's all. If Silva wasn't fit, I'd rather Christensen play. Do you agree with that? Because he barely put a foot wrong, and he got took out of the team. But I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, he's looked good since he was coming in. I mean, Zuma's had a good season for me on the whole. But he didn't look brilliant yesterday, it has to be said. And I think Christensen, you're right, he could feel hard done to that he was actually took out the side. So, I mean, I'd agree.
Yeah, so I think Silva will be back in. And he is so crucial, really crucial, not just in terms of sort of the season in the Premier League and trying to help us to the top four. But if we realistically want to get a result against a proven Atletico side, him at the back, his experience is so vital. And against Suarez as well, we need him, don't we? We need Silva at his best in that back three.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Particularly with Suarez. So I did joke about it earlier, but I think Silva needs to be there, and I think he needs to just shadow Suarez and try and take him out of the game as much as possible.
Yeah, I suspect it'll be Rudiger next to him, like you say. Wing backs then. Interesting. You suspect it will be Reece James. We'll touch on Hudson-Odoi at the minute. He can play there, but I think against Atletico, you'd rather that maybe a bit more defensive still in James. The left wing-back position, though, is really interesting with Alonso and Chilwell. We all got caught up on Alonso as the better wing-back, and that probably is the case still in terms of when he goes forward. He does look better attacking. I've mentioned it before. I like him in the air as well. Gives us a bit of something. But it'll be Llorente he's up against for Atletico. And there are going to be times when we're going to have to defend. I know I say Atletico might sit in at times, but they're certainly going to have moments when they put us under pressure as well. It's not like we're, not going to dominate at all parts of the game. So, it'll be interesting, that selection, because Alonso has been the favoured pick. But I don't know, it's a big selection, that one. If Chilwell comes in for the Champions League game, that was going to boost his confidence because it's a massive game, isn't it? Like, that's what the games you want to play. And that's why he joined Chelsea, Ben Chilwell, because he wants to play in these big games, doesn't he? Yeah,
exactly. I think it's the confidence boost he needs as well. He was, I think he started well at Chelsea. Again, as you've just touched upon, he is probably more of a left back as opposed to a wing back. But I think he needs to be given the proper chance. And he sort of hasn't played a great deal of minutes under Tuchel. So I want to see him come in, and I think he'll do well. I really do. And Alonso, I don't know, he started off well since he came back in, but I just feel like he's sort of not as effective as he was. And my feelings on him on a longer term basis. So no, I want Chilwell back in. I think we spent 50 million quid on him. He's got to come back.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's going to do it. Really interested to see. But I suppose you're going Chilwell. I'd probably go Chilwell as well, but I'm not too sure. Then in that midfield, that's another interesting pick because he went Kante and Kovacic, didn't he, against Southampton. defensively, for the most part, I know they scored that goal when they sort of played through us, but I thought Kante had a really good game off the ball. I don't know how many tackles, but it was plenty, and they broke the play up. So I'm thinking, although the balance might look better with Jorginho in there, against Atletico, maybe Kante in there might be the smarter play. I don't know. What do you think? I know you said Jorginho, but can you see that side of it, why he might go Kante?
I can definitely see it. And when you put an 11 together, I did think, do you want the defensive cover that Kante brings? But I just feel like Kovacic wasn't as effective yesterday. And he's been fantastic the last, the recent run that we've been on. So if you bring Jorginho in, I just feel like that gives Kovacic so much more. And I think we're going to need that. Some of the passes that he's been pulling off recently, we're going to need it. So, that's what I've gone for. But there's definitely an argument for Kante. It depends how you want to play the game and what you think Atletico are going to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's big decisions all over the park. Again, interested to see how he does it. I think we'll learn, of course, it's only the first leg, and the second leg's at the Bridge, which sort of seems quite a big advantage to me that it's at a neutral venue and the Bridge, albeit there's not supporters there. But yeah, that's interesting how they'll do that. Then the front three, again, I've got no idea how he's going to do it. I think Werner's a shoo-in, like you say. You had him in your team. I don't know if it'll be a striker, though. Because for me, I could possibly see Mount, Werner, and I think he could bring Giroud in. I don't know what you think of that. He was on the bench, left on there against Southampton. Let's start for Mason Mount. He's in the team, isn't he?
Yeah, first name on the team sheet now. Obviously, he was under Frank. He still is under Tuchel. He's just been brilliant this season. We've talked about it before. He's a future captain. He was just the only player really that showed real quality consistently against Southampton. He's there. There can't be any debate.
He played really well. Werner, I think he'll play, as I just said. I will admit he really annoyed me yesterday. Don't think he had a good game. Put a tweet out about him. He had really bad stats from the game, but I'm not going to turn on him because of, one performance. And perhaps it will suit him, maybe some better movement. And I don't know, let's hope he can do something, because that's why we signed him. We want big performances on the European stage.
Yeah, we keep talking about him, and I hoped he turned a corner against Newcastle, but he finally sort of got the goal and thought he'd kick on. But again, Tammy started yesterday, so I'm talking about Werner playing as the main striker. In the middle, I want to see his movement. I think the game will suit him. I really do. He's done well in the Champions League for Leipzig. This game is a real opportunity for him to come in as a central striker, do a job, and kick on from there. And, I think we'll all be talking differently. His stats weren't impressive against Southampton, yeah. But again, he's pushed wide. We've spoke about that before. We've bought him as a striker. We need to start just playing him as a striker now. With Giroud, I do see, what he'll bring, but I don't want it. I want Werner in there.
Yeah, I suppose any player who has a big performance in there really could be a turning point, because this is the big stage. And we're having a bit of a tough time domestically, but we're in the Champions League here, and it's a brilliant opportunity. The other point there, you said Ziyech. We've got to touch on Hudson-Odoi because of what happened. He's obviously called out by the manager. I've not heard any comments from him in the past, 24 hours now it will be since it happened. So I'm really interested to see how that develops. But if that hadn't have happened and you'd have asked me for my team, I'd have said this could have been a game that maybe suits Hudson-Odoi. Bit of extra, dribbling, direct at the team. But I can see the Ziyech side. But you've got to admit, Ziyech hasn't, out of the two players, Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi, it's clear which has had the better season so far, as well, particularly since the new managers arrived.
No, yeah, definitely. We're big fans at the Chelsea debate of Hudson-Odoi. Ziyech hasn't had the best season. But again, I think this is, we talk about a predicted 11. And, since Tuchel's come in, you'd say that, this is the new system. So you roughly know what shape he's going to play. But we still don't know. And I think it was a problem under Frank as well. We didn't actually know what our best 11 was. Yeah. We spent so much money in the summer on a lot of attacking talent. And then it was sort of trying to get the jigsaw to come together as one. And Frank couldn't quite manage it. Tuchel's not really managed it yet. Yesterday against Southampton, we broke down in the final third. We can't afford to have that against Atletico because, they are going to sit in. Chances are going to come at a premium. So when, we need somebody clinical there to make the most of the chances. I just think as you sort of just mentioned again, the comments on Hudson-Odoi, I think, will it affect him? Will it not? We don't know. But this is such a big game. I want to see Ziyech coming because it's an opportunity for him to... There's been a lot of talk about him potentially leaving on loan at the end of the season. I don't want him to. I was really excited about him when he came in. And I think it's an opportunity for him to come in, silence the critics. And, it's an opportunity, and I want to see him given the opportunity. That's what I've gone for. I think people may disagree, but I want to see it.
He obviously had, as you mentioned there, a really good time in the Champions League, so maybe that could suit him. He's got that bit of extra, know-how because he's really good at Ajax, and that's the one thing. When we signed him, it was like, he does it in the Dutch league. Why you sign him? Because he performed on the European stage. So there's that. Maybe that will come into the fact. I've got a little comment here. I was just finding while you spoke, and it was from the post-match press conference from Tuchel. My job is to win games, not to put some expensive guys together. I tweeted that out, and I've got someone put here, his true colours are coming out. People are saying this is now, we're starting to see the real Tuchel. With a few games in now, it's quite interesting to see how he does it. Two other players I've got to mention in that attack who were both missing against Southampton, but it doesn't sound like either, ruled out potential of this Champions League game. But Pulisic and Havertz, a lot of fans clamouring for Havertz to get an opportunity. Again, could it suit him in this sort of, big stage? What do you think?
It could, but I don't know. For me, I think the game's too big for him, and I wouldn't risk it, to be honest with you, because his confidence quite clearly is shot to pieces. We've seen that when he has played in recent times, I just think it'll be too much for him. And whenever I've seen him play, you might disagree, but I always just think like you sort of lose some of Mount's effectiveness and creativity. Sometimes they're sort of in the same areas and stuff. So with the form that Mount's in, I'd rather see him in, and then Ziyech offers you something a little bit different. I'd leave Havertz out. Maybe bring him on for the last 20 minutes, depending on the game and how it's going. Because I think, like you've just sort of said yourself, the second leg's at the bridge. So the most important thing in a tie that we're massively the underdogs in is that we're still in the tie when it goes back to the bridge. And then, some of the European nights that we've had at the bridge over the years, who knows what can happen then. So that's the main thing for me. We've got to play in a way that we're still in it, whether that's, a draw, a slender lead, or even a slender loss the other way. But we've got to be in it. And I just worry that if Havertz comes in, he'll get lost in the pack, not really do a fat lot. And, recent times, it's almost looked like when he's been on, we're playing with a man down. So, I wouldn't.
There's like a lot of people expecting it to be a low-scoring game. But if we can go and get an away goal, it'll be massive. So you can sort of tell by the way we've discussed it there, the attacks are all over the place. Like neither of us know. I could potentially name a whole different set of 3 players to yours and think maybe that's the right way to go. I honestly I'm not sure. But Tuchel obviously got PSG to the Champions League final, so he's got pedigree himself. He'll be up for it. And like I say, slight underdogs in the fixture. Let's go for it and see. Away goal would be brilliant. I know it's going to be a bit cagey and we've got to be aware of the talent, but if we get that away goal, that'd be crucial. And the Champions League looks really open to me this year. I don't know what you think. Obviously PSG look really good. Obviously City, we know what sort of form Liverpool are in, and it looks open. If we can get past Atletico, let's go all the way. Let's win the competition. What are you saying? It's open.
Yeah, no.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's really open. The Champions League, you get to, you said about, obviously, Atletico only got 9 points in their group. You get to the knockout stages, I sort of think it's not a free-for-all, but, it only takes a big performance off a couple of players, and it's all changed. If we knock Atletico out, you're going into the quarterfinals thinking, bloody hell, Chelsea are one to watch. It's open. Who knows what will happen in the other ties? And, even Liverpool-Leipzig, whoever goes out of that, I know Liverpool have got a lead. it's a contender that are out. So as the competition falls away, I think we could go on a run, but we have got to get past Atletico first. I think we've got to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough game. I think we'll wrap the video up, but I think the main thing we're sort of taking from that, Atletico, really tough opposition, and we know it's going to be a really tough game with the form they're in, albeit they lost at the weekend. And likewise, we don't know how we're going to set up, but a lot of that's sort of been the case. We know the structure, but there's definitely places up for grabs. So do you have any final words on it before we wrap it up?
No, like as I said at the start, nervous and excited in equal measures. Fingers crossed for a big performance and a 1-0 win or more.
I was gonna push you on a score prediction. You're going 1-0.
Do you know what? I'm gonna get shot down for this, but I think Atletico will win 2-1 this leg.
I'm gonna go 1-1. Let's see. I'm really interested to see how the game pans out in terms of how we play, but really excited, and could be a real big turning point in our season if we do win it. But excited for it. If you enjoy the video, like I say, like and subscribe, please, and follow us on our social media pages, Twitter at Chelsea_debate and Instagram _Chelsea_debate. But big thanks for joining us. Thank you, Josh, as always, and up the Chelsea.